All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. If there's anybody else that jumps in here shortly, we can adjust course if need be. But welcome to the webinar. My name is Kellen, broker, owner, realtor, City to Shore, Port City Associates. I'm with City to Shore now for about 5 years. Just opened up Port City Associates last October. So just trying to put this out here. I know, there's been a lot of questions and stuff here as of lately with everything that we've had going on in Michigan and West Michigan here. Trying to kind of navigate what everything is going to look like over the next few weeks and over the next few months, really. So just thought I'd throw this out here, free webinar. Feel free to ask any questions. You can open up the chat and drop a question in there if you feel like it. But I've got a few slides here that I'm going to go through, just kind of talking about buying, selling, what it looks like, how that transition is, what the market is going to look like, what the expectation is. So I know a lot of people kind of, hit the brakes as soon as the whole COVID thing hit, just as far as what they were, planning on doing with their home, with buying the next home, all that good stuff. So just wanted to be able to kind of talk through that, answer some questions. Hopefully it'll help people out. The whole goal with this is just to provide information and be a resource, just try and be as helpful as I can. So real estate isn't really listed as an essential business. However, I am still kind of able to operate remotely. So again, that's why I kind of thought putting this out here would be kind of beneficial. If somebody can take some information away from it and kind of feel better, or at least feel like they're informed as we kind of move forward into the spring months, then that's great. That's kind of the whole goal. So yeah, so we'll kind of jump right into it here. We'll go into the next slide. Hey, there's me. Forgot that I put this slide in here. So, so here's kind of what we're going to do. So presentation agenda. We're going to take a look. I think the biggest question that a lot of people have is, what is the market going to look like after all of this? What's our spring market, our summer market? What's that going to look like? Our home's going to appreciate. So we're going to kind of tackle that first, get that out of the way. And then we're going to kind of dive into, those that are interested in buying, some that are looking to sell, and then maybe those folks that have to sell in order to buy their next home and what that transition can kind of look like. And then towards the end there, if anybody's got any questions, we can hop into some Q&A there at the end. So, so first things first, kind of what's the market going to look like this year? Well, there's a lot of doom and gloom out there if you kind of read some of the local media. However, if you kind of narrow it down and kind of get specific into the real estate markets, you'll notice a lot of trends within those articles. And quite honestly, I've been following a lot of different things, trying to get different views on kind of what this is going to look like. I mean, we've got everything from Dr. Lawrence Yun, who is NAR, the National Association of Realtors. He is their chief economist, pretty widely respected around the world, quite honestly. So Robert Dietz here, he's the chief economist for the National Association of Home Builders, Fox Business. There's been a whole ton of different outlets here, but the one thing that they are all kind of agreeing on is that they feel like the real estate market is really going to rebound. And we've actually kind of already seen that already. There's reports coming out of actually China already that their housing and real estate market has picked right back up where it left off and then some. Some of the key factors here that everybody's kind of looking at, and Dr. Lawrence Yun had some really good points here. I listened to a podcast that he had done. It was about a 35-minute podcast, but very well worth it, very informative. He talked about this and the fact that inventory is still unbelievably low, if not lower. We haven't really been able to put any new listings out. However, we have been able to sell some houses. So our inventory levels just kind of keep dropping. And what this is doing here is with everybody kind of just pumping the brakes a little bit, kind of putting things on hold until it opens back up. What we're kind of expecting here is this is going to kind of create a log jam of buyers and sellers. We're looking at, all these people kind of re-entering the market that kind of put it on hiatus there for a little bit. And now all of a sudden you've got all of these people that are just kind of log jamming behind one another here. So, and then Dr. Lawrence Yun brought up a good point when he talked about that there might be a lot of buyers and a lot of sellers that actually enter the real estate market that weren't initially planning on it. You've got kids that have been home for extended periods. You've got people that have been working from home, and quite honestly, there's even an expectation that a lot of those employees may not return to the office. There are some businesses that are already talking about that they're just going to keep their employees working from home even when this is passed. There's businesses realizing that the expense of having people on site isn't really necessary and people can work from home. And if that's the case, now you've got these homeowners that are looking at their surroundings going, okay, I don't have a true office. I don't have a separate space that I can kind of shut the door and be able to work efficiently in. You're going to have some people, I think, that are going to re-enter this market that weren't initially planning on it. Same thing with, kids at home for extended periods. With school kind of being done here now through, this school year, you've got a lot of these kids that are going to be cooped up at home for an extended summer. I know a lot of them are still doing some online schooling and stuff like that, but you've got a lot of these kids that are going to be home. So parents are looking at going, holy cow, my house is nowhere near satisfactory enough to be able to have these kids at home. So, and then you've got a lot of people that have just been shopping online all day long. You've got all these different places that you can go to. You can even get online now through, Hulu or your Roku and stuff like that, and be able to shop for homes right through there. I was actually playing around with Keyboom, which is an app through Hulu or through Roku that you can get online, and you can just shop different areas, neighborhoods, price ranges, things like that. So you can sit at home, with your spouse and browse through new listings right on your TV. So pretty neat experience there. So, and then really when you get down to it, you look at the fact that we haven't even really hit the busiest time of the year yet. We had a pretty mild winter, and it kind of felt like the real estate world never really stopped. Typically we see a little bit of a slowdown January, February, with the bad weather, people aren't putting listings up, people aren't moving. But now you're going to have this influx of new buyers and new sellers re-entering the market that we haven't even hit our stride yet so far for this year. A lot of times you tend to see the trends where if a family has to move or if somebody has to move, if they've got kids in school, they'll wait until towards the end of the school year because they know that by the time they actually have to physically move, kids are going to be out of school. But now because we have no school in right now, parents are looking at this and they're thinking, okay, we might have this opportunity here to where we can actually have the time to be able to make the move that we want to make and not be kind of stressed out by the spring and summer months. So I think we're going to see a real jump here, once this kicks over. So, Fox Business Real Estate will boom once again, once the threat is gone. Robert Dietz, chief economist for National Association of Home Builders, the housing sector enters this recession underbuilt rather than overbuilt. And that's kind of one of the key things here is not having that. So, and then if you follow any of these economists or Brian Buffini or anything like that, this was a really good podcast if you want to check that out. So you can go right on the Brian Buffini show and check that out. So let's jump